How to prepare for your asylum interview or court hearing without a lawyer.
Hi, greetings. I am attorney Edwin Fogam, an immigration attorney. Today I wanted to talk to you briefly about how you can represent yourself in an asylum interview or before an immigration judge without an attorney, without a lawyer. Why am I presenting this? Because based on the current immigration situation, immigration policies, many asylum cases are being fast-tracked, interviews being scheduled, and expedited removal proceedings. Sometimes foreign nationals or persons who are out of status find themselves appearing before an asylum officer or going to immigration court without the time or the opportunity to secure counsel. So I will give you 3 tips on how to try to make something out of this situation if you find yourself in this unfortunate situation, which is really an unfortunate situation. The first is that focus first on your application itself, the 589, the asylum application. Make sure you check every single aspect of it, make all or any corrections, because this will be accepted when you go for your interview. If you did not have a personal statement, if you just wrote in the answers, sit down and write out a personal statement. And in writing out your personal statement, follow these 4 headings. First, have a background. Actually, underline it. Explain where you come from, when you left, and how you were able to enter the United States. Explain all that in the first part. The second, explain your claim, what it is based on, whether it is politics, religion, social group, or just imputed. Make sure you clearly state what your claim is based on. It's called on account of one of those groups, because if you don't have that, your case will not stand. Thirdly, state specific incidents of the problems you suffered or you encountered because of that affiliation. In other words, your persecution. State time, dates, places, who, and what. Be precise, okay? And fourth, make sure you state the well-founded fear, why you are afraid to go back, what will happen to you, why you cannot relocate to another area of your country. That's the application for asylum. Now, the interview and the hearings. Both for the asylum interview and the immigration court hearings, you have to know your application very well. For the asylum interview, it is an informal interview. So you'll be talking to an asylum officer who will ask you questions and you just answer those questions. Before an immigration judge or an immigration court, it will be an adversarial hearing. The immigration judge may ask you some questions and the government lawyer will ask you questions. Here, there are a couple of things you have to note. First, don't volunteer any information that you have not been asked, which is not in your application. Secondly, don't guess. Thirdly, make sure you ask for clarification whenever you don't understand a question before you answer. Fourth, maintain eye contact with the judge as well as the government lawyer. Fifth, make sure that you follow, when you're answering your questions, you follow the pattern that we had established in step 1. This applies both during the asylum interview and before an immigration judge. And finally, the third step, both before the asylum officer or before the immigration judge, you will be given an opportunity to state your claim. Follow the same 4 steps that I explained in the first part. 1, state your background briefly, how you came in, when you came in. 2, state why you are seeking asylum, your claim, the basis of your claim, your affiliation, religion, politics, social group, or imputed. 3, state the persecution, the specific incidents of persecution that you suffered. And finally, state a well-founded fear. If you follow this format, you may be able to prevail in your case, although it's a very difficult situation. I wish you the best.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.